I would like to invite you to consider a new discipleship resource for your congregation. Baker will be publishing my new book entitled The Core of the Christian Faith, Living the Gospel for the Sake of the World in May 2025. It is a shorter and more popular book designed to be used along with videos and other materials as a discipleship tool for local congregations. I believe there is an urgent need for discipleship in the North American church. We've often reduced church and the Christian faith to a Sunday morning worship event. Certainly, worship is central to our lives, maybe the most important thing we do. But being church is far more. We are called to be a distinctive people, or, as the Bible puts it, the new humanity, living out the whole of our lives under the reign of King Jesus, for the sake of our unbelieving neighbors, and in contrast to the idolatry of our culture. Dallas Willard was rightly concerned in his lifetime about the trend toward diminished discipleship. He said that the greatest issue facing the world today is whether those who are identified as Christians will become disciples, students, apprentices, practitioners of Jesus Christ, steadily learning from Him how to live the life of the kingdom into every corner of human existence. And in another place he says, non-discipleship is the elephant in the church. The fundamental negative reality, he said, among Christian believers now is their failure to be constantly learning how to live their lives in the kingdom among us. And this is an accepted reality. This book and the accompanying materials are designed to offer a resource for discipleship and formation in the local congregation. There are 4 parts, and you can study either one or more of those sections, or even, and hopefully, all 4. The first probes the question, what is the gospel? Of course, the good news of Jesus Christ is at the heart of the Christian faith and must be our starting point. This section wrestles with what Jesus meant by the gospel when he announced the good news of the kingdom of God. We contrast that with some ways the gospel has been reduced in our time and ask further what practices will enable us to continue to root ourselves in and live out of the gospel today. The second section reflects on the biblical story. We trace the biblical story in 4 short chapters and ask why it is so urgent to recover the Bible, indeed the very structure of the Christian faith, as one true story of the whole world. In the third section, we inquire as to the role of God's people in the biblical story. We employ the word missional to describe the calling of God's covenant people to be the true humanity for the sake of the world amidst cultures that serve other gods. And in the final section, we study the religious nature of Western culture and our story, something that is often neglected. Our concern is to ask how we can love our place and at the same time be faithful amidst the powerful currents of our culture. Gospel, biblical story, missional people, missionary encounter with culture. This is the 4-fold core dynamic that can shape the people of God to live the gospel for the sake of the world. This core dynamic parallels and has many similarities to the way the early church formed their people in a 2-year catechetical preparation for baptism. They had 5 goals: to teach them the biblical story. Second, to give them a new identity. Third, to form a new behavior. Four, to detoxify them from the idolatrous story of Roman culture, which had shaped their identity and behavior. And finally, to enable them to look like Jesus, as one catechism puts it, for the sake of their unbelieving neighbors. This kind of formation process must go beyond simply reading a book together. And so accompanying this book are a number of free resources that may help you structure a small group setting into a powerful place of formation. There are videos to accompany the book. There are further resources to study, discuss, and teach the book. And there are also suggestions for group and personal practices that can deepen the formation process. These resources are all free, and you can find them all online at the website shown on your screen. And it is my hope that together they may play some small role in equipping God's people to be a little more faithful to the calling that God has for us, to embody the gospel for the sake of the world.